Hello and welcome to an introduction to the Communications Group Dynamics and Conflict Resolution class for the second part of spring semester in 2020. My name is Harry Dubnick and I will be the instructor in this class this semester. The class is also known as Morgue 550, and I wanted to give you a little bit of an introduction to me and a little introduction to the class before you actually got into the rest of the LMS system, the Blackboard system, to look at it. You'll find the syllabus is there, and there's also an expectation form, and I'll talk about those in a minute. I wanted to go over the basics of the class and the sorts of things that will be expected of you, and I wanted to provide you with an opportunity to get comfortable with the format of it before we start up in class. The class runs from February 26th, which is a Wednesday, until April the 29th, which is also a Wednesday. But in general, our class weeks, or our module weeks, will run from Monday until Sunday night at 11:59. So our first class on February 26th, I've set as a session in which it is what's known as a synchronous session, where you can attend live, and I will be conducting a class which you'll be able to interact. You can ask questions or whatever you want, and we'll try to answer those questions. The main reason for that class actually is so that you can get comfortable with the synchronous sessions before we have two others during the term in which we'll have guest speakers that I think that you'll want to attend. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. As I said, my name is Harry Dubnick, and I've been teaching at North Central since about 2012. During the day, I have a job as a lawyer. I'm a civil trial lawyer, and I work for the Commonwealth Edison Company, which is the electric utility. I'm in the claims department there and have been there for many years. The class will introduce you to a lot of interesting concepts which will help you in leadership roles in organizations, whether that's a not-for-profit or a conventional business or a government entity, or in schools or departments, wherever you are. It's a generalized approach to communications and leading groups and conflict resolution within the confines of business or management in many different structures. The real reason that I wanted to make sure to address you before we got going in the class is we have an interesting problem in that spring break comes 3 days into our class, which causes a lot of confusion. So class begins on February 26th, which is a Wednesday, and there will be things to do that first week, but they won't actually be due until the Sunday night of spring break. Now, they're very limited things. It's just filling out an expectation form, which introduces you to me and to the rest of the class, and then posting that by that Sunday night. If you want to get it out of the way before spring break, that's probably a good idea. If you want to do it during spring break and post it by that night, that's your option. And then the real classwork will begin the following Monday after spring break. From Monday until Sunday will be that unit. In general, the units are set up that you really have to do the reading relatively early during the module, because the assignments which come from them will be assuming that you've already done the reading and whatever other work there is available on the module, such as videos and things like that. In looking at the syllabus, which is posted, you can see that there are various expectations of you. Mostly it's reading and video work in each of the learning modules. And then the coursework is divided up into sections such as the discussion posts, which are every week. You'll generally read a discussion question. You'll not be able to see what anyone else has posted. And then you'll post your response. And the moment that you post your response, you will be able to see what other students have posted. And then you'll be expected to reply to at least 2 of them. You'll see the rubric in there for what is expected of a discussion post. The other points that you can gather from the class come from, there are a couple of reading quizzes during the term. There are also a couple of what are called reflective sorts of sessions, reflective activities, which allow for you to consider the things that we've thought about, consider the principles, and reflect on them, and give some feedback in a short answer essay sort of format. And then we will have 2 much larger projects. One is a simulation, which will be a negotiation simulation, and that'll be explained as we go through the term. you will be paired with another student in order to negotiate a problem, try and settle it, try and get to a resolution, and then write about that resolution, and that will be the product that you'll turn in. And then at the end of the term, you'll be doing a much larger final conflict assignment, which counts for approximately a third of your grade. That is something that we'll be working on throughout the term. You'll start in the third week by turning in what your proposal is and your treatment of that proposal, what you propose to do. And that will be a conflict that is something that is either in the news or in history or something that is real and verifiable. This is an opportunity to make real to each of the students the idea that there are actual conflicts that arise that they will have to address. So the successful student in this class is someone like a leader in any organization who is very aware of politics, economics, social norms, entertainment, what's going on in terms of popular culture. These are the people who wind up successfully leading organizations. And this class really demands that you think about those things and be able to bring them to bear in class in very real ways. You'll be asked to go ahead and select one of them, one conflict, and discuss it, and we have different formats I'll get to in a moment, and discuss that one conflict in terms which make it real to you as a conflict that you can look at the different sides of it or the different parties who are involved and see each of their perspectives in order to bring them to bear and attempt to find a resolution that you believe the parties would actually adopt and that would be able to be put into effect. That is a significant part of this class. That assignment will be able to be done in 3 or 4 different formats. One, of course, would be the classic term paper. That would be one where you pick the assignment and you do it, and you work alone on it. You can also pair up with someone in order to do something, or even be in a group as large as 3. All of those groups would then produce group work, a presentation, or a webinar on the matter, or something like that, which would be posted for all of the students to see so that they could critique them and reply to them or respond to them. Those programs will also require some written work because there's obviously some documentation. All of these will require an examination of research work and peer-reviewed sources, which you'll cite to and you'll learn to work with as primary documents for those programs. I don't mean to rush through all of this and give you a complete description of the course. That's in the syllabus, which is posted already and you can look at. Prior to the end of that first week, and we'll go over this again, like I say, the first night of class, the expectation form is the only document that you'll actually have to produce by the end of the first week. We've set up a synchronous session on the first night, February 26th at 7 p.m., and we hope that everyone will join us. And during that class, we'll have an opportunity to I'll introduce myself to you again, talk a little bit about me. I hope that some of you will talk about you, and we'll talk more generally about the class. And like I said before, make sure that everyone understands how to attend a synchronous session on Blackboard so that we'll be able to do that again in the future. I think that we can have a lot of fun with this class. I hope that you'll have a lot of fun and that you'll learn an awful lot about leading organizations and communication in organizations and how incredibly integral to leadership and to an organization the communication system and the trust and collaboration that you garner in that communication system can be to every organization. I look forward to it. I hope you do, and I hope that we'll be able to work together throughout the entire class and make it an enjoyable and very rewarding experience for all of you. Thank you for watching this.